Alright, I'm working on a page, one of the rough pages, transforming it into a final page, and I want to show you what I'm doing with these old rough illustrations of Miki. Look at how widely spaced the eyes are, and basically what I'm having to do, and here we go, right on the camera, I'm having to go back and erase a lot of these original sketches, the entire head of Miki, and start over again for the final art to make sure I get the anatomy right. And that's why I thought filming this would be helpful for anybody who's wanting to learn something about drawing the anatomy of the human head. Maybe not perfectly accurately, but in a nice sort of manga way. I'm starting here with the neck, and I am going to indicate now in a much closer to a real human head the shape that I'm putting in here. I had her, I guess, a little more with a round-headedness when I first started off. I'm going to go ahead and erase a little bit more here. And anyone who's had an art class has probably seen the teacher do this thing with the lines. It really is helpful to indicate, just with the quick lines, the dead center of the head. That's where the eyes are going to fall. Now, one of the problems that I have to get rid of is the widely spaced eyes being spaced a little too widely. Here I am going back in again and getting the eyes hopefully a little closer to where they ought to be in terms of real human anatomy. Manga eyes are interesting because they never actually draw the entire eye. They sort of do the top part of the eye, the bottom part of the eye, and they almost never draw that inside point of the eye. They just leave that to the imagination. I'm going to do a little hint of the nose here. Nice thing about drawing manga is you really don't have to draw the entirety of the nose. You just sort of hint at it. And then here, please pay careful attention to this, because this is the real star of the show when it comes to emotion: the eyebrows. If you are drawing characters and not making full use of the eyebrows, you are really missing an opportunity to convey emotion. Miki is in the middle, my main character Miki is in the middle of a very emotional moment where she's trying to convince Hiro, the other guy, of their next plan of action. I don't want to give it away what that is, but she's come up with a rather drastic plan. And so her face needs to convey that kind of emotion, and to see how much of that is conveyed by the eyebrows, that sort of crimped look of the eyebrows. I don't know if crimped is the right word. But anyway, that tilting those eyebrows inward like that. And notice that the cornea part of the eye here is often just a little bit cross-eyed, especially when you have characters that are very near each other. I found, strangely enough, that if I get that eye, the cornea part, in the dead center of each eye, that my character starts to look a little wall-eyed, and that, of course, is not attractive at all. I'm going to just sort of hint at the pupils and so forth. This face is not so big, so I don't have to get into too much detail there. One thing that is just my own personal preference, and people may not like this actually, is I give my characters a fairly large chin. I don't know exactly why I'm doing that. I think I guess I feel on some level that a larger jaw conveys the strength of the character. And I want Miki to be a strong character in the end, someone who takes charge of her own life. So we've got that, and now I'm going to go in and start doing the hair, kind of roughly indicating that. I try to get a lot of the strands of hair to sweep in front of her face on the sides, where where they won't be interfering too much with her eyes. And then now I can kind of go back into this neck area. I've given, anatomically this neck is very small. I think the real girl's neck it's going to be a lot larger than that, but maybe this conveys some of that cartoony manga thing that we don't want to lose sight of. I mean, if you've seen comics where they've used photo reference and everybody looks exactly like they came out of a photo, that's a whole different thing, and that's definitely not what I'm going for with this project. There tends to be a shadow beneath the chin. I'm indicating that here. And now to get the hair, you need to have indicated the shape of the skull so that you can get the hair to fall off of it properly. I was originally just forgetting about drawing this the skull, and I would just jump in and do the hair. Well, if you haven't drawn the skull first, then you don't really know where to put that line of hair, and it's not going to look natural. One thing that I've started to do is, no matter what season or where they are, I almost always let the hair, Miki's hair, kind of blow off to one side, this sort of dramatic gust of wind that comes by, and especially a scene like this, which is a pretty dramatic scene. I go ahead and go to town with that and have little strands, blowing off to one side in a hopefully kind of attractive way. I may have to go back and redo some of this stuff when I'm not holding a video camera with my other hand, but anyway, I'm going to indicate a sort of a highlight of where the shiny highlight is going to go on her hair, this sort of band of white that eventually gets dropped in, really handled more with computer Photoshop, but I do make sure that I have indicated it by hand with the pencil first. And now it's probably time for me to go in and reinforce some of these lines with the black colored pencil. This is where it'll really start to show up, hopefully a little better on the video. Going in there and getting this stuff a little darker. Especially with something like this, I'm not going crazy with a whole bunch of highlights on the eye. I tend to get just that one, then the pupil, leave things a little light toward the other side. I'm going over to do the other eye here. Notice again that you're doing just the top part of the eye. I find you're doing the top part for sure. You may hint a little at this little edge here where my pencil is right now, and then go for this lower part and leave it at that. If you are outlining the entire eye, you're definitely not getting a manga look, because they generally never outline that entire eye. Here we go with a little more of the same for that one. Again, I may have to tweak, but in terms of the placement of things, but I think I've got it pretty close to where I'm going to need it to be. Go ahead and get those eyebrows. Like I told you, the eyebrows are all important. I hope to sometime have a chance to do a video that really demonstrates how the changing of the eyebrows can change the emotion of a character. I'm going to go ahead and erase. The nice thing about using a black colored pencil as your final line is it doesn't really erase, not nearly as easily as the normal number 2 pencil. So if you've gone in like this and done your final lines, then you can erase without losing too much. Well, I know that I'm only given 10 minutes on one of these YouTube videos, so I'm going to just dash in a little bit more of the shading here. I know I'm down to like my last 30 seconds of time here. So rest assured I will be doing a lot more before this goes to complete final, but I don't want to run out of time. So I hope you enjoyed that. A little demonstration of drawing a face from scratch, and we'll be back again soon with more videos. Thanks a lot. Bye now.